So at the end of season 2, I remember telling myself that if Bill Hader actually finishes pretty strong, this could possibly be better than Game of Thrones. But here we are after season 3, and now I'm telling myself that this could possibly be one of the greatest HBO shows ever if Bill Hader finishes strong. Now, I understand that's a big statement. You got your Wire and Soprano lovers, but look, Barry, for me, is one of the most underrated series of all time. Nobody talks about this show enough. I know it's gotten 3 seasons, so people are watching, but I feel like nobody talks about this show enough, and I'm just here to break the ice and just let you guys know that this is one of the greatest shows HBO has ever delivered, and Bill Hader is just absolutely killing it at this thing called directing, acting, and writing, and this is Barry Season 3, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I could simply say. Barry Season 3. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and this is my review for Barry Season 3. Now, essentially I'm not going to be going over, detail by detail of what happened in the series. Just like my other reviews, I'm just going to be going over little plot points that I essentially just want to go over, things that I like, things that I didn't like about the season. Spoiler alert, there is nothing I didn't like about this season. I thought this was absolutely phenomenal, so I'm just going to be giving this show a lot of praise, and essentially I'm just going to be giving out plot points that I just want to go over. So a spoiler warning is in effect. I am going to be talking about, some stuff in details, mainly what happened in the finale, because that's the biggest twist of this whole entire series. But other than that, I'm just going to be talking about essentially what I loved. So to start with what I loved about the show, I'm going to talk about the man who not only written and directed this show, but he's also starring in it, Bill Hader. Look, since season 1, Bill Hader's obviously had a vision for this show and where he wanted it to go, and now it's shining brighter than ever. I honestly was very upset that this show took such long breaks in between seasons, just because, I really enjoy this show a lot, and I'm hoping that it comes out pretty faster, especially, I honestly hope, especially after this season 4 comes out as fast as possible, because we definitely need it. But look, Bill Hader is just absolutely killing it in all aspects of writing, directing, and acting in this show. He stepped it up. He literally has turned what he's done in the last 2 seasons, turned up the notch by at least 4 or 5, and has just absolutely killed it. And not only did he turn up the notch for his own self-performance and his own writing and his own directing, just bettering his skills in those senses, he's gotten the entire cast to follow suit, because everybody in this season gives a phenomenal performance. I mean, you got NoHo Hank, Sally, Fuchs, they're all giving their best performances. I haven't really kept up with most of these characters or most of these actors except for Bill Hader and Henry Winkler, honestly. So as far as I'm concerned, these are the best performances these people have given in their entire careers. And I've just been simply amazed by everything Bill Hader has simply done to accomplish in this show, because it's just absolutely incredible to see what this show has become. It dives into such darker themes this season. We're really going full circle around essentially what happened the previous 2 seasons. All that is starting to catch up to Barry. His past is literally haunting him physically, because Fuchs is getting all his, people who he's killed in the past. He's getting their family members or whoever is associated with them to come and find Barry and kill them. And he's also essentially, he wants to do good. He's been wanting to be out of this life, and he just can't find a way out. And that tone is just, all over this entire season, and it's really killing him. It's really eating him alive. And Bill Hader, it just gives a phenomenal performance. He deserves an Emmy. He does. He absolutely deserves any and all awards that the Emmys can give him for this series, because he's just done such great work. He's honestly outdid himself from the last 2 seasons. Everybody else has outdone themselves. And there's a man in particular who I believe outdid everybody in this entire series. And I'm going to get to him right now. Henry Winkler as Gene Cousineau deserves nothing but a standing ovation. He deserves all applause, all flowers, all credit. I feel like I personally had to get my own, bias for Bill Hader and my love for, all his talent and work out the way. And I really had to give Henry Winkler the credit that he deserves. He did the absolute best in this show performance-wise. Not only, this man had me laughing, this man had me tearing up a little bit, because I felt bad for him, of course, because he lost Janice, the love of his life. Look, Mr. Cousineau ain't never do nothing wrong to nobody. Well, okay, that's not true. He's done wrong to a lot of people in his past, but as far as when he was introduced to me, he ain't do nothing bad to me. So I love Mr. Kushino, and just I always sided with him. He's just been such a great character, and Henry Winkler really adds so much to him this season. Like you really see a side of all of these characters that you've never seen before, and that's what I love, that Barry really pushes the boundaries on pushing these characters to show us more sides of themselves. Like we're really seeing the darker version of Barry. You're seeing a broken Gene Cousineau. You know, he's really trying. Gene is really always tries to be bright, and he really just tries to, you know, essentially not be so down in the dumps all the time. And you know, once he lost Janice, that really, you know, took his soul with him. So that was a lot on him. And just to see how, you know, him and Barry react to each other this season, with Barry kidnapping him and trying to almost killing him, and then essentially he lets him go. He gives his money for his family. It's a lot. I love the relationship between the two, and of course that just leads up to, you know, the big betrayal where Mr. Cousineau basically, you know, plays off this skit with Jim Moss, Janice's dad, and ends up setting up Barry and getting him arrested. And I don't know if, you know, he really wanted to do that to Barry. I think, now, of course, you know, once, you know, Jim Moss brought Cousineau into that garage and showed him those 2 chairs, I would have been singing like a canary if I was in that situation. So shout out to Mr. Cousineau for holding in there. I mean, you know, once he got face to face with him, that was mainly it. But first of all, that entire scene was phenomenal. So I'm just saying that. But I don't necessarily think Mr. Cousineau really wanted to do that to Barry. I think he didn't really have a choice. There was no way, you know, he was getting out of that scenario with Jim Moss and nothing was going to happen. Like something was going to go down. It was crazy because the way the scene was set up, it was set up to think that this guy wasn't expecting Barry. First of all, I heard a loud creak when Barry first walked into the house when that scene first played, so I automatically assumed something was up. Like there's no way that guy can be so detailed and discreet and he didn't hear Barry creaking like that. So I knew something was up with that, but it just all leads to that finale, and it leads to that final moment where Barry's being taken off to jail and Cousineau and Jim Moss go their separate ways. And I was heartbroken. I was torn to watch that because I love Mr. Cousineau. I feel like he does love Barry in a sense. Like, in a way, like he did kill Janice. He's torn. He's torn the same way I am. I can't necessarily relate to that pain because Cousineau is, you know, in the show and things like that. But I know I can feel his pain. I can sense it. And, you know, Henry Winkler just deserves all the credit in the world because it was easily one of the best performances I've seen in a TV show this year. He made me feel so many different things. And that's another thing that Bill Hader does in this show that really impresses me. The way he can juggle so many dark tones and so many dark themes, yet have people laughing all in the span of 5 seconds. Granted, The Boys does that in a way too, but I feel like Barry does that with a more... Like their darker tones are actually meant to be... Not because... I feel like the darker tones in Barry are meant to be dark for that certain amount of time, and you actually feel that dreading over you. I feel like The Boys, like, it has its dark tones, but we're having fun with that no matter what. There were times in Barry where I just felt uncomfortable. Like, I really wasn't having as much fun as I normally do with the show because, like I said, this season does dive into darker themes, and we honestly need that. Even from the Sally character. Sally gives us a whole nother side of her we never seen. She's normally, for me, a big whiny, babyish character. She's been like that for the last 2 seasons for me, but she really outdid herself. She grew into this phenomenal actor, and it's crazy because I always wonder, like, you know, the show's about actors, you know, trying to make it in the world of acting, and it's like, I don't necessarily know if they're going for the whole whiny thing or if they know what the audience will receive their characters as, but Sally did a much better job in this season. Like I said, I honestly thought she was really whiny. I was honestly surprised that I actually liked her character a lot more this season, just because I just couldn't really correlate with her before, and now all of a sudden I'm a big fan of her. Not even just because, honestly, shout out to her for killing that guy, because, you know, I honestly, oh my goodness, it's crazy because when she was getting choked out, I honestly thought that was it. I was actually very sad to see that happen, the way that was slowly happening. I was honestly sad. If that was the way Sally was going to go out, I do have to admit I would have been torn up about it. But I really can't give this cast enough credit for the phenomenal job they did and just setting up a phenomenal storyline. And honestly, season 4 is probably going to be one of the greatest seasons of this show, this seasons of TV the world has ever seen. Like, Bill Hader really is on to something here, and I really feel like a lot more people should talk about it. But I'm going to get to one more character, and then I'm going to give my overall thoughts. I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. It's probably not going to be as quick as possible, but I do what I can. So the three antagonists of the series, Fuchs, Jim Moss, and then essentially, you can describe him as a protagonist. Not really. I'm going to describe him as an antagonist. It's the cop that, essentially was doing the whole case and, served in the army with Barry. Those were the three antagonists, or the main antagonists that we were dealing with this for the season. And Fuchs, I'm starting with him, did a phenomenal job. I was so pissed at Fuchs the entire season. I thought he was so petty. He played the villain role very well. He made me feel everything you're supposed to feel towards a villain. He made me very upset. And I was just I was just devastated to see that he was trying to take down Barry this way. But I get it. It's his petty revenge scheme. Fuchs has been that way because he feels like, he wants Barry to, be with him for the rest of his life. And, Barry wants to walk away from the life. Stuff like that happens. But Fuchs did a phenomenal job. Another thing I really liked about this season, I thought that by the end of this season, when, things were first being set up in the beginning of it, I thought by the end of this season, the people that Fuchs was telling that Barry killed their family members, I thought these people were all going to come at him at once, and Barry was going to have to do what he did at the end of season 2 and just go on a straight killing rampage and a killing spree. He didn't have to do that. One thing I really liked that the season did, I liked that the fact that everybody that Fuchs was recruiting responded in the ways you thought they would respond. Like the mom and the kid that he had recruited, the kid essentially shot himself in the car. The old guy that he told, that guy ended up getting Barry to the hospital somehow. He killed himself. It's crazy. It's really crazy the themes that this season goes over, and like grief and things like that, like the grieving process. I mean, Bill Hader just absolutely killed it in every sort of way possible. And I'm talking about the villains, but I can't give Bill Hader enough credit. The Jim Moss character I thought was absolutely menacing. I really wish we would have gotten more of him in this season. I really hope he's in next season because I feel like he can be a phenomenal antagonist. Now, the only thing that would have made that character 100% perfect, because it's 99.9 at this point, the only thing that would have made that 0.1 just absolutely out of this world fantastic is if Ving Rhames was playing Jim Moss. If Ving Rhames had played Janice's dad, we would have been phenomenal. Also, kudos to Bill Hader once again for that phenomenal shot at the very last scene of the finale where, Gene and Jim go their separate ways. Jim's just standing in the lawn watching Barry get carried up, driven off to jail. Right there, sitting in the living room, is a picture of Janice, just right there in the right corner, the bottom right corner. It's a phenomenal shot. It kind of sits with you because it's like, this was coming. We felt like this was coming. Barry's past was going to catch up to him, and it just sucks to see all that happen. But I'm just floored by everything I saw, and just to put my 2 cents in on the cop. He was there and then he wasn't. I felt like that was the one character they really couldn't really figure out much to do because he's connected to Barry's past because Barry saved him before. So I figured that he was going to use that to let Barry go in a sense, like the way he did. He told him, starting now, you can no longer kill. And Barry's told himself that before, and we all know when Barry or whoever wants to say starting now, things are only going to get worse. And I'm ready for next season. That's all I can tell you. So overall, guys, look, Barry Season 3 is absolutely incredible. Bill Hader is a masterclass. Henry Winkler deserves every Emmy Award in the book. I think these characters have done such a phenomenal job. I'm ready to see what happens in Season 4. Look, shout out to Bill Hader for a few things. One, recreating GTA. Giving us the closest thing to a GTA adaptation on screen that we possibly will ever get. It was essentially the chase scene that he was doing on his motorbike. It reminded me of GTA, at least. I don't know if you guys got the same, thoughts as I did with that scene that was going on, but I had to give him a shout out for that. That was the closest thing to GTA. Also, NoHo Hank and Cristobal. Whatever MT Movie Award they can win for best couple, best whatever, please give it to them because they have... NoHo Hank is low-key one of my favorite characters in the show, and he's honestly snuck his way. He's always had a special place in my heart ever since he came up on screen in Season 1, but him and Cristobal's relationship is not only just hilarious, it is very romantic in a sense. Look, NoHo Hank and Cristobal deserve to be happy for the rest of their lives, and I think that in Season 4, we should just see them on an island just relaxing and enjoying themselves. And other than that, guys, look, Barry Season 3 from start to finish, 10 out of 10 episodes. It's very short. It's honestly, if you haven't seen Barry at all, it's honestly a quick binge. You'll probably be finished with the show and maybe, it's only 20 29 to like 32-minute episodes. You'll probably be finished with it in no more than 4 or 5 days, guaranteed. It's that phenomenal of a binge. It's that easy of a binge, and I promise you it's worth all of your time. So, Barry Season 3, have you guys seen it? What did you guys think about it? I loved it, obviously. 10 out of 10. Can't say enough about it. A+ series. I'm ready for Season 4. And if you guys are ready for Season 4 as well, let me know in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.